What is happening, Bairns? Welcome to In the KM, one South Standers point of view on all things navy blue. As always, I am your host Ray. In today's video we are here to break down, react and discuss our latest match, which saw Falkirk Bairns triumph 2-1. I don't know if that's right. It's mirrored, it's weird, whatever. 2-1 against Dunfermline. A match where some of the expectations before the match was that we'll steamroll Dunfermline, but it ended up playing out a wee bit differently to that actually. So what we'll do is we'll get into it, but just before I do that, a couple of things I want to just talk about as well. I'd mentioned on my last video that I was going to upload a video just discussing about some of the stuff mentioned at the AGM in terms of like the commercial stuff and how we're just looking in terms of finances and things as well. I still want to do that video. It's just been a bit hectic. I've just not had the time. Even this video, I really wanted to get this video out yesterday, and I've just, as soon as I've finished work the night, I've just wanted to get straight onto getting this uploaded as soon as possible. I'm finding it difficult, troops, I'm not going to lie, I'm finding it difficult to stick to a strict schedule on this, but I really want to start doing it. I've just got to do it. What I'm wanting to really do is that if I'm not got anything major planned after the games on the Saturday, then I might even look to get the videos uploaded when I get home on the Saturday night, depending on if I'm going out for a couple of post-match celebration bevies or whatever. So it probably means that if I upload on a Saturday night, it probably means it's not been a good result, because when it has been a good result, I feel a wee bit hungover for the next day. But I'm going to try and stick to more a rigid schedule on this, troops. I'm going to try and get a video uploaded on Sunday, early Sunday afternoon, rather than leaving it to like Monday night and that. Because what I do is, as well, just to give you an insight into the craziness that is my mind. Like I don't go on Pie and Bovril. I don't read any stuff on Facebook. Well, I try not to anyway. I still ended up commenting on a couple of things, and I don't watch the Falkirk Daft video until after I've already done my own video, because what you end up doing is you end up just repeating things other folk have said rather than forming your own opinion on things, you know what I mean? So anyway, on to the video. So we went into this game, like I said, red hot favourites, top of the league against a team that's 1 point off the bottom. On paper it's a scudding, but as you know, derby games, they rarely play out like that, and it's the old cliche, and it's the form book goes out the window, all that patter, all bets are off on derby day, and it's who wants it more. There's a million cliches you can use, but really it was a case of, and I'm sure I'm not alone when I say this, that the feeling was, if we play to our best, like we know we can, we will win this game, and I don't think we played at our best in this particular game, and I remember at the time feeling a wee bit like, as I was coming out, obviously you're happy, you've won, and that it's 3 points up the road, happy days, but at the same time I remember feeling at the time, please do tell me in the comments below if any of you feel the same way on this, by the way, that I came away for the game feeling a wee bit frustrated, a wee bit, we should have won by more. But then when I got home, and when I started thinking about it more, and when I started watching the highlights, and I'm like, oh, Nicky's made a good save there. Graham's had to bail out Nicky a couple of times with goal line clearances. And you've got a shot that goes just wide as well. And of course they scored as well. Like, this game was actually not just a case of that we maybe didn't play at our absolute best, but I think that Dunfermline did turn up. And I'm no wanting to sit here and praise other teams, especially teams like Dunfermline and that, but you've got to give credit where it's due. We can't just be like, everything we do is amazing, and anything that we don't do that's amazing, it means we're automatically shite, and we can't credit the other teams. You've got to give Dunfermline credit. They, on that showing, if you didn't watch them play any other games, if you weren't tuned in at all, you would be surprised to find out that they were second bottom and that they have only won one game the whole season, because they still looked decent at times. And I wonder if, I know this isn't a Dunfermline channel, so I mean, who really cares what they do, but I just wonder, as the football fan in me wonders, that even a loss like the one that they got on Saturday, it's a spirited loss. It's one where they can come away for that and say, we were right bloody unlucky, so we were, because the goals that we score in this game, like, what was it Stephen Milne was saying on Falkirk Daft, that were fortuitous Falkirk. Well, I mean, that gives him a wee bit of ammo, because both goals were like something out of FIFA. It was... We'll get into things more, and I'll come to that. So we start the game pretty well, but actually before that, let me just run through the lineup. Let me just bring it up here. So in terms of the starting lineup, absolutely no changes, I believe, for the game against Accies, which is to be expected at this point. McGlynn don't change no players if he doesn't need to, and you see managers at the opposite side of the table now, they'll be chopping and changing things all the time because they've not got a settled 11. They're trying to throw things at the wall and see what sticks. So Dunfermline went with two up top, McCann and Whiten, with Matty Todd behind, Kane, Richie Hosler, Clay and Otto, who, correct me if I'm wrong, was he the boy that played at left back last time? Because it says here he was playing in midfield. I could be wrong. Gwenwa, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Hamilton, Young, Comrie and Oliver Yemi in goals. Is he the guy that's... is he Celtic that they've got him on loan for? Don't know. But that was the lineup that they went with. And I thought we started the game pretty well. And that's something that we always... you can expect for us, is that we'll always start the game trying to get an early goal, and when we do, teams do struggle to win. So it's no surprise that, and here's the interesting thing again, please do tell me if you feel otherwise, but we scored 24 minutes into the game, but see, because we score goals so early, it felt like that was on the stroke of half time, because I'm used to scoring within the first 5-10 minutes, so it's crazy to think it took that long. The way the goal is scored is pretty fortuitous, to use the Stephen Milne pattern. So Gary Oliver gets the ball in the box and he picks out Ethan Ross, who shimmies onto his right foot, and he bends a side-footed shot, and it's for all the money it's gone in, and then it crashes off the post, but then hits off the defender Hamilton and goes in. It's the first of two very, very FIFA goals, and it's just one of those things where it's just, if it was to happen to us, you're just like, there's nothing the defender can do here. He's literally just in the wrong place at the wrong time. The ball probably should be going into the back of the net. They've got that slice of luck with coming off the post, but just to rub insult to... Sorry, I've got caught in two bits of patter there. To rub salt in the wounds and add insult to injury, it hits off the post, but just hits off a defender and goes in anyway. So all it does is it just robs Ethan Ross here a goal. So, it just went in, man. Get what I mean? But we're 1-0 up, and we're thinking, right, let's kick on for here. Let's see what Dunfermline are really made of. Will their arses collapse? And nah, their arses didn't really collapse. I mean, don't get me wrong, we still created a couple of chances. Sorry if I'm getting things out of order here in terms of chronologically when things happened, but there was a really, really good chance for Aidan Nesbitt as well, who he gets the ball about around the penalty spot and he flicks the ball for his right foot onto his left. It's absolutely gorgeous, man. He'll never ever connect with a ball as well as that again the rest of his life, and he kens it. It's sublime, and the keeper manages to save the resulting shot, and it's gutting, because it would have been an absolute wonder goal. Like, that's genuinely how good the strike is. In terms of there's other chances as well, like Adams bursts down the line, forces a good bit of defending, we get the corner and that. That's one thing I wanted to actually just speak about, just since I've brought Adams up. Again, if I'm wrong, please, if I'm talking shite at any point in this video, feel free to call me out on it. But I'm really starting to see a partnership developing between Calvin Miller and Caelan Adams. I'm really starting to see an understanding between the two, as if Miller knows when to give the ball, when to go, and Adams knows when to overlap him and when not to. I really do feel like Miller has looked out of place at times on the right, but that's 2 games now where they've linked up like so well, and they're really starting to communicate well with each other. They weren't getting in each other's road. If Adams was bombing down the line, Miller was cutting in and vice versa, like, because we know Adams isn't shy on hitting a shot in that as well, so he doesn't mind cutting in a wee bit as well. But some of the play between the two of them was quality at times. It really was. Like, they're both, I would say they're actually quite similar in terms of how they want to play the game. They want to hit the byline, they want to get chalk on the boots, and they want to try and hit the cross as soon as they're near the goal line or the byline, whatever. So it's interesting that I think they're just finally on the same wavelength as each other. It's really, really good to see, and we're starting to reap the benefits of it. In terms of other things as well, we go in at half time 1-0. I remember again feeling at the time a wee bit frustrated not to be 2-0. But like I said, looking at the highlights, they get a really good chance and Nicky manages to save it with his feet and it happened like right in front of me. I thought as soon as the ball falls to him, oh Christ, that's one each. And he makes a great save with his feet. They always look brilliant when the goalkeeper goes to dive one way and there's maybe a deflection and he just manages to hook it with his foot when he's not even dived that way. Always looks spectacular. It's a brilliant save. And we're 1-0 up at half time and I felt we maybe could have been a bit more than that, but just goes to show you. So second half starts and the very first thing that we're going to talk about is something that I actually missed because I needed a push right as the second half started. And I remember I'm standing there, doing my business, and I hear an almighty roar, but not a goal roar, more like an outrage roar. And I rush back out, still wash my hands by the way, so don't have anybody telling otherwise. I still did. So I rush out to find out what the commotion was and ask my cousin who went to the game with me what the crack was, what happened. And he was like, we just got denied an absolute stonewall penalty. And I thought nothing else of it because I've never seen it. It's hard to be outraged by something you didn't see it yourself. And I was just like, oh well, that's quite shite. But looking back at it on the highlights, no, I've watched this particular incident probably about 10 times now. I've watched it over and over and over again, and I've still watched it again. And the reason I still keep watching this is because I'm trying to go in with the mindset it's not a penalty. I don't want to be biased on this. I'm watching it and I'm like, it's not a penalty, he's definitely diving. But then every time I watch it, I'm like, it's a penalty. Like every single time, there's nothing that can convince me that it's a penalty. Even just the way that Dylan Tate falls here, it's a penalty. When folk are diving, they do the big swan thing and they dramatically collapse. He falls to his knees when he hits the ground. Like, that's a way that somebody would fall if they were actually being fouled. It wouldn't be the big dramatic, the putting on a show for the referee to try and con him. It just looks like a penalty every time you look at it. It's crazy. I thought the referee was pretty poor overall, to be honest. Who was the ref? Let me just bring up. I've got it up on Flash Scores. Other apps are available. Let me just see. Graham. Okay. Because I think he gets the penalty shout wrong. Look, if it's not a penalty, fine. But you're going to book Dylan Tate for that? Are you serious? Like, this is the thing that... Oh, I'm going to get on my soapbox here. This is the thing that really, really fucking winds me up with referees these days, right? Because it cannot be a penalty, but that doesn't automatically mean it's a dive as well. Just because if he doesn't think there's enough of a contact, it's automatically a yellow card. Get the fuck out of here with that part. It's a penalty all day long in my book. But if the referee thinks that there's no been enough contact, fine. But book him for it. This is the kind of shit that just, like, players end up serving suspensions for this kind of crap. And it's just... Look, I know that it swings and roundabouts because it happened to Partick Thistle earlier in the season when, what was that boy, Stanway, got sent off because his second yellow was adjudged to have been a dive. Now, I think it was... I still think it was a wee bit harsh him getting sent off on that one. I can see why. I don't know. There's nothing else I really want to say on this other than I do think that I should have been missing a penalty getting scored while I was at the pisser on Saturday, but it is what it is. The good thing is, though, we didn't have to wait too much longer for the goal, and it's And again, it's really, really fortuitous. God, Stephen Milne's face must have been amazing. But Dylan Tate gets the ball around the halfway line and he picks out an absolutely gorgeous pass for Aidan Nisbet. It takes a bounce and it just falls perfectly for him. He hits a shot, keeper manages to palm it away, but unfortunately more bullshit happens. And when you talk about FIFA goals, this is the worst example you'll see for a while. The keeper saves it. It then bounces off the defender and then bounces off the goalkeeper again and then lands perfectly for Calvin Miller, who's about 5 yards out and has the easiest task in the world to put it away. It's just one of the goals that must drive a manager absolutely insane, because how can you account for that? It's just one of the mad moments where it's like the world's against you. And it's funny because people say that when you're on winning runs, these things go for you, and when you're losing all the time and you can't win games, these are the types of goals that you lose. And it's just funny that, because what can they actually do? Like, they came to FK2, right, and they got beat 2-1 in the end, but the goals that we ended up scoring, they'll be feeling really, really hard done by, because you can't account for, like, it's just sometimes luck is on your side, and it was on our side, and I'm not gonna fuck. But so it's 2-0 at that point, and we're probably all thinking, right, that's probably the points safe in the bag. Let's just see if we can get another goal, or let's see if that prompts a reaction, because you ken what it's like when a team go 2-0 down, they're staring defeat in the face at this point. They might as well go for it. And it's a case of that we actually made changes before they did. But to be fair, they brought on some changes before we even scored, right enough. They brought on Mabudi, Witherspoon and Cooper. But a couple of minutes before they scored, actually, we then brought on Finn Yates for Dylan Tate, Ross McKeever, who finally made his long-awaited return. He came off the bench for Gary Oliver, and Alfredo Aguiman came on for Ethan Ross, who, shout out to Ethan Ross again, by the way, another good game for him, by the way. They end up getting their goal through McCann, and referee, I think that the Dunfermline player really buys this foul. I'm not convinced that Yates fouls him at all. Have you seen the size of the boy? He's built like a skyscraper, and yet the tiniest wee nudge, he's falling air on his arse. Now, like, I've just spent about a good 5 minutes ranting about the Dylan Tate penalty, but I think that there's more contact with the Dylan Tate penalty than what there is with this free kick. Am I talking shite here? Am I just got the tinted specs on here? And I seen it straight away. I'm like, it's not a foul, no chance. And then again, I've watched it back. I'm not even any more convinced. Now, obviously, these types of fouls, nobody remembers them unless they lead to goals. So, like, giving away dodgy free kicks, referees will get away with it from time to time. Although I did think the referee was pretty poor overall. There's times as well where Dunfermline were getting throw-ins and they were taking the throw-in like 10, 15 yards away from where it was initially given, and that. So the kind of shit that just proper winds you up, because it's just inconsistency, and then we try and do it on the other side and the referee's like, no, back there 10 yards, and it's just like, it's the kind of thing that just proper winds you up. But anyway, they get the free kick and Witherspoon whips in let's be honest, troops, it's a brilliant ball. Whips the ball in, and it's an absolute thumping header by McCann that crashes off I'm not sure if it's the intersection between the post and the crossbar, or if it's just the crossbar itself, and then goes into the back of the net across to the other corner. We score a goal like that, we would be praising that to the hills. Like, sometimes you've got to just applaud a good bit of play, and it's a brilliant ball. It's an even better header. Wankers. But it's 2-1, and at that point it's game on again. Start getting a wee bit nervy, especially when they whip another cross into the box, and like, Nicky gets all the praise when he gets things right, so it's only fair that we still mention when he maybe gets things wrong. But I'm a big fan of Nicky, so I'm not going to spend too long talking about this particular instance for the negative side of things. But Cross comes into the box, he attempts to come out to punch it, and it's probably not the best decision. He doesn't get the contact on it, and the ball's heading in. The ball's going goalwards, and Luke Graham manages to bail him out with a great header off the line, and you're just thinking, oh, thank Christ! Like we can't be losing a 2-goal lead to them again. I know it was a wee while ago, but we can't be doing that again. They keep the pressure on, and really it's just about game management for us at this point. And there's another chance they get where, again, it looks like it's gone in, and Luke Graham again manages to clear it off the line with it's kind of just like an overhead kick type of clearance, and we managed to survive again. But pressure was on, and we then get a break towards the end of the game where Finn Yates it's like 2-on-1, and he's got Agyeman to the left of him, but he spots the keeper off his line and he tries to go for the McGuffey, and unfortunately he doesn't make the right contact on it and it goes wide. But like, I don't know, I feel a bit conflicted when we're doing stuff like this, because towards the end of the game it's about game management, and I just think that if you're not going to try and go for the sweat, because the sweat could have been on, he could have sweated it to Agyeman, and we might have been able to score. If you're not going to do that, then try and take it into the corner flag, try and run the clock down. Easy for me to sit here and say this, like if he'd scored that goal, we would be talking about it for years to come, like the one that Stainrod scored, or McGuffey's one as well. But aye, he's so unlucky. I don't actually think it's for the halfway line. I don't know why I'm even using those examples. But aye, in the end, we managed to see it out, and happy days. We've got the win. I believe it's -20 in Dunfermline. Oh, chilly. Get your winter coats on, Fifers. It's getting cold up there. But what I'd said before going into this run of games, right, when we played Accies, I'd said, if we can get the win against Accies, we've got 3 home games coming up, all teams that we've beaten away. There's no reason that we can't feel confident going into these games, right? All we've got to do is turn up on these games, and we are better than the teams that we're going to be playing in these games. If we play to our best, we will win all 3 of these games. And then bear in mind, after we've played Morton and Airdrie at home, the next up game is Livingston away. If we can try and build as much momentum as possible, we can go into that game really hoping to, if not win, at the very least draw. Because I don't know if you've noticed, and I was fucking raging about this, by the way, that when we left the stadium, we spring in the step. Like I said, I was a wee bit frustrated that we didn't get more goals, but again, that's just how it is at the time. Looking at the highlights, I think this was a fairly even game, to be honest. But coming out the stadium, at least I was like, well, Livingston dropped points, didn't they? Happy days. And then it wasn't until I checked my phone and noticed the bastards scored a 95th minute goal to win the game, and that means that they're still breathing down our bloody necks. So it's, I don't think Livy are going to go away. So if we can keep the momentum, and look, we've got two more games before we even start thinking about going to the stadium formerly known as the Spaghetti Ad. We've got a couple more games to think about, but if we want to get promoted, then Livingston are going to be in our road. And just like when they came to our patch, we can't go there and lose. We need to at least be drawing that game. But let's take care of business first. Let's take care of Morton and then Airdrie after that as well. So of course I'll be back on the probably Thursday night to talk about Morton. But before I do that, I just want to double check that have I mentioned anything else I want to mention about the game. One thing I wanted to just say as well is that I know that this isn't his first game back or that, but I'm really loving seeing Aidan Nisbet back in the team. it's funny, sometimes you say that you don't know what you've got until you've lost it. That's true, but sometimes as well you're not reminded of it until it's back as well. And Nisbet has been sorely missed. His industriousness, his engine, his drive. That guy will just keep running and running and running for 90 minutes, and he never tires. He never gives up. He's a favourite of McGlynn, and you can see why. He's another one that I mentioned with Ross McKeever as well, that there were some question marks, right, of certain players and whether they would be able to make the step up. Guys like him and Calvin Miller and McKeever, funnily enough, all of whom were at Morton alongside Gary Oliver as well. And I think that these guys are better players than what they were when they were playing for the likes of Morton. And that's a testament, by the way, to how good a manager John McGlynn is, because as I've mentioned on videos before, my mate's a Morton supporter, and he didn't think much of these guys when they were at Morton. So it just goes to show that sometimes it's about being in the right environment, it's about being in the right team, it's about having the right gaffer that can get the best out of you. Because as you say, all the best managers are able to make players better than what they were previously, and I don't think that can be denied with regards to John McGlynn at this point. He has undoubtedly made guys like Calvin Miller and Aidan Nisbet and Ross McKeever far better players than what they were. It wasn't too long ago that we were saying that we all needed an upgrade on the striker department. Now we're all absolutely desperate to see Ross McKeever back, and I can't wait to see him kick on for here, and I would absolutely love to see him score against his old team next week, just because it's just funny when that happens, especially if he celebrates and if he scores in the first half and celebrates against their Fife fans. That would be amazing. So aye, that's all I really wanted to talk about in terms of the game. Aside from man of the match, it's probably Graham. I think that last week defensively the heroics was Nicky, with a couple of good saves he made in the second half after Luke Graham had made a bit of a hash of his defensive duties and cost the team a goal a wee bit. This game he more than makes up for that, and here that shows strength and character, by the way. This boy's he'll do alright, because he didn't let that get him down. He just rolled his sleeves up, pulled his socks up and worked even harder, and he's probably saved us drawing that game. Could you imagine how devastating that would have felt if we'd actually not won that game? Well, we've got him to thank, because both of those shots were definitely going in, and he's come to the team's rescue, and that's it. It's a team effort. You know, it'll be Luke Graham this time and Nicky the time before it, and then it'll be Hendo's turn next, where he'll do something that stops a goal, and it's just all about somebody stepping up, and if somebody has an off day, somebody else steps up and takes their place. So that's all I've got to say about that game. What did you think about the game? Anything you want to talk about that I've missed? Again, feel free to put a comment down below, and if you haven't already, if you could possibly like, subscribe and share the video as well, be greatly appreciated. There's still so many people out there that don't watch, and I'd just love to raise the awareness and the profile of the club as well, because I want to keep seeing these home sellouts continuing. Second time this season that this home end has already been sold out, by the way. That's the only other thing I wanted to talk about. Some effort, troops. It's quality. Let's keep that up, and who knows where that will take us. People are already starting to talk about fourth stands and things like that again. I think that we've got more pressing matters with regards to, we're probably going to need a grass pitch at this point, but love the fourth stand patter. It's just shows you how much of a good place that we're in, genuinely, when we can start talking about things like that. But I'll be back on Thursday night to talk about the upcoming match against Greenock Morton, who are playing tomorrow against Queen's Park. So I'll maybe keep an eye on that as well, and I'll speak to you then. So take care, bairns. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.